Year 2025, this year is absolutely long by.
Wow.
But I also want to say how much I've appreciated working with the board and compliment this board on the amount of work that we've gotten done for the citizens of Occidental County. It's quite an accomplishment. And thank our administration and everybody else for helping us achieve that. With that being said, Supervisor Little, if you don't mind, would you lead us in prayer this morning?
Let us bow our heads. Dear Lord, we come to you this morning thankful for your son Jesus and his birth into this world, Lord. Lord, please be with us today, help guide and direct our decisions that we make. Please be with everyone's families. Lord, and thank you so much for all the things that you've done and given us. Please be with us as we go throughout this week, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Supervisor. We'll go ahead and jump into our agenda. The first item on the agenda is our citizens' comment period. If we've got anyone that would like to approach the board for up to 3 minutes, now's the time to do so. Good morning, Mr. Turner.
Good morning. I want to say good morning to President Howard and board members.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
On the last time I had to pay bills, now that's the reason I wasn't here. Citizens, as we getting close to the end of the year and next year, land taxes we got to pay the land taxes. We'll be paying a lot of money for land taxes. And it getting to the breaking point where would like the elevator fixed. If we paying a lot of money for taxes, we shouldn't have to let it go without. Also, the voting situation that it seems like that we hearing that they trying to tamper with the voting situation there, let's be careful.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Train. We acknowledge the comments of Mr. Alvin Turner. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Would there be anybody else that would like to approach the board? If not, we'll go ahead and close this part of our agenda. Next on the agenda, we've got our friend from Governmental Consultants here with us this morning. Would you come forward and introduce yourselves?
Honestly, we're not doing it by myself. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all.
Good to see y'all. So it's been a couple of months now, I believe, since we sat down. There were some questions that were posed by the board related to some funds being invested, what opportunities we had using those what opportunities we had to maybe leverage that, and a couple of things as the board evaluated some consideration of what it'd like to do going forward. We made a simple one page. I say simple. It's not simple. There's a lot that goes into it. But there's a one page that I believe answers the question that the president posed to us about this. Right? So have some of these Yeah, I think this goes in y'all's packet.
Oh, okay.
No, it should be the same one that was in your packet. Yeah, you got that. And so what we looked at was, and we evaluated a lot of other things based on some questions that were posed here, right? But we just looked at what I think would be the most direct answer to the question, right? If we take X amount of money and we set it inside of an investment vehicle and it generates interest, and we use the interest to leverage to go towards paying for capital projects, how much can we accomplish from that? So we keep things very basic, because I know there's been a lot of conversations. I've seen some of the meetings from some folks that come here and propose different investment vehicles, different things. We just use what the U.S. Treasury 30-year is that, right? So if any of us was to go and buy a 30-year bond of a U.S. Treasury direct obligation, which is permitted by law, right, for counties to invest in or cities to invest in, what would the rate of return on that be? It'd be 4.8%, right? And so taking that, we just used the $55 million assumption number. How much interest would it generate each year? And so it could in theory, would generate $2,640,000 annually, right, in interest earnings against that treasury, which would give you about 10 million, 5.6, it's 560,000 in each every 4 years, right? So we also broke it down by term of office availability. And so if we look at how much $2.6 million would generate in interest and what we could use to leverage that amount, you could do any number of things. But to make it a little bit more simplistic, we tried to bracket it into very smaller groups here. So you can do as much as $24 million over 12 to 20 years. You can do as little as $10 million, right? $24 million would be taking every dollar that you had and putting all that interest toward it, which that's a little bit of that causes one part of a conversation. The other part of this would be is if you were to look at smaller amounts, small amount of capital, that would be a much, I think, pointed way to go. And I say that because with all the discussions being had about different investment opportunities, different things that are being there, one, the policy needs to be created, two, the funds need to be put in there, but two, needs to have some certainty of return, right? So we know that we can generate money. We don't know how much money until that money is invested in there. I mean, is it going to consistently hit $2,640,000 every single year? Is it going to hit more than that? Is it going to hit less than that, right? And so those things still need to be kind of pointed out. Yes, sir.
Well, that's one dumb question. Is that not a guaranteed rate of return, 2.64 up to 4.8% forevermore? How could you get less than that? That's based on the federal.
Right. We're assuming that we took $55 million and bought U.S. Treasuries with it, right? But I think there's a lot of other opportunities that the county has to decide on what funds it could invest in.
So there's even more.
So, yeah, I
you could
think
get even more back.
you could. And so I think you can get, I think if you had an investment firm manage these funds, you may make more than that. You may make less than that, right? But we just used what was the easiest, I don't want to sound lazy, but the easiest route, which was a 30-year treasury.
That's the most generic, right?
Yeah, which is generic for government entities. We plugged that in.
That's a safe.
It's a safe route. Correct, yeah. But there's a lot of other vehicles that are in there. I mean, I think you can probably earn more than that, but you would need a portfolio that's going to demonstrate how those investment earnings could move up, move down, different directions. So all I have to say is I think there's a plethora of options the county has. It really just comes into getting the money invested to start earning the interest, calculate to see what's available and how fast you can kind of get leverage from those points, right? So you could do $24 million, you could do $2 million. The range is pretty wide open from there. It's just about vehicle set, interest earnings, how much of the interest earnings do we want to use to go towards capital by leveraging it. And I wouldn't use 100% forecast, obviously, right? Because we need those interest earnings to go back into the principal balance to continue to grow, to be able to compound it all at the same time, right? We took all $2,640,000. Our principal amount wouldn't grow, which means we would be able to keep up with inflation rates, right? Cost of buying products, construction costs, all those things that are kind of in there. So I think there's a wide range and deeper question of some opportunity there, but that's the answer to the question. That's kind of what's this one page I think tried to do that for as much as we could. I did talk to Supervisor Little, the entity that you asked me to talk to. I know he came here, presented to the board, did have a conversation with him about some things. Again, there's a lot of, you need a local and private that's robust to allow the county to issue anything outside of invest in anything outside of what state law, which is just CDs, direct obligations of the United States government, bonds, those types of things, right, which you all can now. Anything past that, those types of things, you would need explicit authority to do so. So you're a long ways away from being able to do something like that. Yeah. But I did speak with them.
What was your feeling about that? Like, is it a safe thing to do? Is it not a safe thing to do? Would it earn us a lot more money? What was?
I would be more apt of going to your depository bank and saying, what investment options do you offer us? Compare that, right? Because you have a depository relationship with the bank right now. They should have investment options. what do you guys have right now that you can lay out to us that can generate some investment earnings or not, and some things like that? I would be more looking at something, I would want to look at something a little bit more three-dimensional than just that.
Yes, and that's why I just want us to look at all of the options that are out there and available, because once we put this together, it's a long-term deal.
Sure.
And I don't want to mess it up by saying, well, we should have looked over here, when at this time we can and we do have the opportunity to look at all the options on the table,
Right.
that are there, instead of just saying, okay, we're going to stick it here and, do what everybody else has done. Because I know, we've gotten information from, Lowndes County, from Lauderdale County, and, both of them do two different things.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
and I think the county's got a lot of opportunities. I mean, a lot of decisions that you guys get to make, that maybe none of them, that they may have done right or may have done wrong, make your own decisions on that.
Yes.
I think you're only speaking to if we go the route of bonding, establishing bond. You're not speaking to where we invest the money to.
That's correct, yeah.
And who's gonna give us the best return.
That's correct, yeah. I think you need to evaluate that. I'm not going to give you the advice on that.
That's not why you are sitting at
Yes,
the
sir.
table.
That's correct, yeah.
Talking only about bonding.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Well, I'll tell you my opinion on fixed index annuity is that goes into an insurance company. The reality is that insurance company, if it ever goes belly up, we lose all our money. And that's the reality. We're the first city or county municipality in the state of Mississippi that's done that up. And I don't, in financial terms especially, I don't like being first to explore new options. I want to be, this is a cash cow for the county forevermore. It's safely, we're talking about very, very conservatively, 2.64 annually. That would be living off all the interest from what I understand. We're drawing all that out of here. 75-25 math probably gets us around $2 million a year, and that's compounding for growth and construction costs and everything like that. It's a lot of money. We're not, and I think sometimes we think in terms of 4-year terms, you're looking at $8 to $10 million that every new board gets to use, but let's think long term, that's in 4-year increments in our brain. Let's think of 200 years and 500 years. And I know that's hard to do, but 200 years from now, this is still generating the people of Oktibbeha County. So this 50 million has turned into hundreds and hundreds of millions. And it's hard to think like that, because I think we all just think we got, if I inherited this money, which I'll never do, I'm saying personally, I might explore other options. I think at this point, we do have a depository. We have some people in this town that they may not be our depository, but there's some gentlemen and ladies in this town that would probably come back with options that would even be more beneficial to the county than this. But I'm not a financial expert. I'm thinking about 2 or 3 people now that I really want to pick their brain and go, how can we make a whole lot more than this? And they're going to say, well, let's, typically get paid to do this. But anyway, it's a lot of money. It's not, you could have, I don't know how you spend it, but this other thing is, doesn't this make our borrowing capacity go away if we've got a bunch of cash sitting in future projects and borrow against it? So I just want to tell y'all, I'm going to lean more into putting it all in with an endowment or a trust.
I think at this juncture, we're looking. I think I am just looking to see what everybody else has, because at this point, I think we need to, I'm just speaking that Rob is an excellent attorney, or he wouldn't be ours, but I think that we need to have a law firm involved to help vet some of the other financial institutions when we do an RFP, for people to come and present to us, to where it is it's a fair, thing, and everybody can put together the best proposals, along with coming up with the best language for whatever investment option we come up with, because we need to make sure that's summed up with the best language possible, out there for future boards, for future, times, use of that money, still generating income for the county.
I think that they're saying the same thing that you were saying.
I think so. I think we're all on the
What he's
same
saying-
We
page.
also,
What he is saying then, that if we invest all of the funds that we have, then you could borrow, and then the money that you borrow, the interest on that will take care of the payment when we get the interest off the money that we invest. When we get the interest off the money we invest, it will take care of the payment
yes, sir, that was a question that was posed.
of these,
Yeah.
of these bonds. So I think they're saying the same thing about investing the largest portion of the fund to get the best return back.
It's one of, and that was the reason that I asked, Lynn and Nick to come and give us a scenario. And I think the scenario that they've given us right now is pretty much plain Jane vanilla, safe option. And that gives us an idea right now of what this option would do based on the 4.8%, which is a safe option. It'll show us, but what he's also saying is there's options beyond this, there's options below this. You could go one way and make a lot more, or you could stay here and be safe and know what you're getting, or you could take some risk and possibly not. But right now, like Supervisor Little said and Supervisor Williams, we're in the informational gathering stage of this. This right here, I mean, you know, this, if we're looking at safe, good option, I mean, with a lot of return on it, good return on it. But there's other options, and I think we've got time. I'm hoping by first meeting in January, we'll come here and say, okay, this is what we're ready to do based on our research with our attorney and all the other research that's out there. But this is one of the things I was definitely looking for. Some of the information I was looking for when you all were asked to come to give us a scenario like this.
Could we, I'll just let the board think on this. We've got this option, which is the safest. We've got a repository. If we add two more, I don't know if we want to open it up to 20 presentations, but I'm thinking, without saying names, I'm thinking two other people in this town that are different banks other than our repository that are considered financial experts, and that would be three. You know, how is the best way to do that? Pick 3 or 5. I mean, I don't want to sit in 25 banks coming, you know, but there are a couple in this town that come back with some good advice.
That's why I was saying, I think we need to have somebody that sends other people out, you know, for us. You know, have a, you know, company that's used to, you know, like, everybody can send in their, you know, informational proposals, kind of like we do at the hospital. You know, everybody can send in their stuff, and then they, you know, then they can say, these people do have enough holdings or enough financial backing to where they're not gonna dissolve, or, you know, this bank is stable and has, you know, is not fixing to be bought out by somebody else, and, you know, that has just more knowledge than, you know, than we do, you know, that can help vet, you know, some of those people, you know, out for us to make sure that that is the safest, you know, best place for them to go. Because I do feel like this is a huge opportunity for us.
No, I agree, yeah, and
Because it
also,
can generate a lot of money for us, and it can generate money that we could use now and in the future. You know, because we have a lot of things that need to be done.
I think let's don't miss the point. The point is, I believe, is how do we take advantage of some funds now to take care of some immediate needs? Do we do that by holding out money? Or do we do that about advancing, bonding some money, and then let the interest of the money that we invest take care of the bond? So, I mean, this is what's at hand now that we're talking about.
And that's why I think we need better financial people to tell us that option. You know, like, this is the safe option. This is the safe, good, you know, option.
But no other way to get, I don't think, to get immediate, to take care of some of the immediate needs. There's basically two ways to do it, I believe, and that is to either hold out some money, hold out some bond, or the bond, or to establish some bond.
And governmental consultants is not here to tell us how to invest.
Right.
What they supplied us with some information that says, if you go this option, you could bond all the way up to $24 million. It's basically what they're saying. They're not telling us that you need to invest this way. What he said was there's all kind of scenarios for investment options, but if you decide to bond and go this option, this is what you can do. And this is what your return would be. And this is, you go from 2 million to 24 million. They're not sitting at the table telling us how we need to invest, where we need to invest.
Thank you.
They just, what bank to use, they're just saying, if you go the bonding route and you use this option, and this is a middle of the road option, safe option. So the board can now decide, again, back to what Supervisor Little is saying, do the research. But you've got a number in front of you now that you can look at and say,
Mr. President, sorry, one more thing too. We also, separate from this, we also looked at all the different funds. Reappraisal year coming this year, right? So there's going to be some decisions that I think will be made. There'll be probably a waterfall shuffle of some villages that probably will need to be done. Should be done. There's a wide range of how you can place that or say that, put that in place or so. But some villages reallocated in this fiscal year to be able to prepare for the reassessment side, and then some of the things we've looked at, and we can talk about at a later date when we get to close to the budget season, is some areas that villages need to be rolled back to provide for some other things. But there is another resource the county is going to have, and it's going to be in village, and it's going to be in assessments. It's going to carry a lot of opportunity. The county is going to sit down and decide and discuss and talk about where it wants to put those things from road and bridge to all the different areas that exist out there as well too. So just keep that in mind as the year moves on, because I think there's some opportunity that exists just on that end as well too.
My only concern is fair, equitable distribution. Whether we spend some of it now, or whether we fairly, equitably distribute the interest. That's my concern. Because whichever way we go, the return, we still got to decide which way we want to execute that amount that we get from the return, whether we go with an investment vehicle or whatever. And that's my concern. And so from the beginning, when I was talking about equally divided, from my aspect, that gives me some resources to try to address some immediate concerns and also look at some long-term concerns too, and not get in the way of what you think is your concern in your district and your district from the people that you represent. Because in my mind, each one of us represent a fifth of the people, in this county. But when you get to assess values and some other things, I know that gets to be a different distribution. But the bottom line of it is, all of our districts have different needs and different constituencies. Of course, you all hear from mine vocally quite a bit about some of the things they want in my district. And so I think that would be one of my top concerns, but your district may be different. So that's what I'm concerned about, equitable distribution of the proceeds, whether we're doing a bond or whether we're going to just spend the interest, make sure it's equitable and applied across the board.
I'll tell you some of my things to think about late at night. The simplest scenario is take this 2.6 and you get the first year, you get the second year, the third year, and that would be the simplest of all scenarios. That's true, fair, and equitable.
But that's 5 years, you only got 4. So,
Yeah, but I'm just saying if you write it into where it goes, around that, but that will never happen.
I mean, it could happen. It could happen, but the bottom line of it is that each one of our dynamics are different. And so, and I'm not just talking about with road infrastructure, but I'm talking about whatever that's important to the constituents that we serve. And quite naturally, we got a lot of needs out there. We've got a lot of things with infrastructure and education and other things. I know he was talking about those villages that may roll off, but in my mind, the schools don't get that with the new schools that they're looking at building. And so we got to consider, the burden that's going to be on the taxpayer for some of the needs that we got for the entire county.
That's what I was saying. So then that's the simplest cost scenario. The reality is you've got some stuff coming up. You've got a $10 million project and it doesn't matter what district it is, if it's school related or something, I'm just thinking of all these scenarios if we're gonna all have to put it on that project. You know, it doesn't matter what district it's in, it's just something that's the greatest need for the county at that moment, so. From here, it's all policy. I mean, I think y'all gonna see I'm more toward putting it all into an endowment or a trust, and everybody, it's 3 votes here, and y'all shave some off the top and put the rest in an endowment or trust, I'm gonna vote against it. But you know, I think that talk has come up a couple times, and I understand that sentiment, we do wanna have a real immediate return to the officials to be able to tell them that. My greatest protection, I think I know all 5 of us pretty good. I want to protect against future boards. To be totally honest, I don't want this thing wiped out somewhere where it say it's grown into a $75 million pot in 25 years, and the group wants to do something that. So just be known that I want this to whatever this board sets precedent be set for future generations.
But you don't want to lock them in because things change. You know, you don't want to put something in place now that will cripple people in the future.
I think there's emergency declarations, but I understand what you're saying.
Dynamics change, you know, everything changes, so you know, you definitely want to do that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When we're talking about big projects, because we've all talked about, eventually we'll end up needing a new jail. Eventually we may end up, we talked about a new justice complex, or y'all, those are projects that are going to have a huge number attached to it. I don't even want to say a number right now because y'all all know the numbers we've looked at. If we can go and have a certain amount of this grow, and then take that and go to the feds and go to the state and say, hey, we've got X, whatever that number is, and I'm not suggesting to you that I know what that number is, then we're in a better opportunity for them to help meet those needs, because we're coming to the table with some seed money. So I leave that on the table. I don't make this decision, y'all make this decision. But I do want to throw that on the table and say, we have got some really large projects out here that don't really affect any particular district necessarily, but it is a large project that's going to affect the whole county as a whole. So in thinking of this, and I know y'all are, I really do, I know that we've all had conversations about this, but I think within the next couple of years, we're going to have to address a couple of these large projects. And I throw that on the table to say, I'm here to help, and I'm going to get as much as I can from the state level. And of course, we're going to do everything we can to get that money from the federal level too. But that is a number that we are going to have to face.
Is there I have one more question. Just go ahead. When you approach state legislatures or federal, is there a kind of a benchmark of 80-20 matches, 60-40? What's the most enticing to land a project? Is there
It depends on the project. And I'll give you an example. When we first started talking about building our building, there was a lot of talk about an administrative building. Well, an administrative building does not move the dial very much, but a justice complex on the other hand does. And when we were talking about trying to build something, we can have our administrative stuff plugged into there, but we can also have the justice. I mean, gosh, y'all, we've got a new county court system that could go in there. We've got goodness need and others. We've got all kinds of needs administratively. I said I wasn't going to do this. Y'all, we're looking at $30-40 million to build the type of project that this county needs and frankly deserves. We're an SEC town. I want y'all to be proud of what it is that you build, and I want to make certain that whatever we build lasts into the next 50 to 100 years. And goodness knows, y'all been handed, honest to goodness, y'all been kind of handed a pig's ear and told to go make a silk purse out of. And we've got this opportunity that may pull us out of that and move y'all in a different direction than what you've been in. But I will be very clear, I'm going to do what this board tells me to do, and that's, you know, when y'all make the music, I dance to it. So.
Well, we certainly established the fact that we've got a lot of needs. But I don't want to pull governmental consultants into decision-making here at the table. They came to give us some options on what's out there, what we could possibly do. This board will have to, once we review all the options that we have, then this board will have to make a decision on which way we'll want to go. And again, Nick and Lynn have said if you want to do bonding, here's an option. So, go ahead,
So I'd just like to make a motion, we just take this, presentation on the advice.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little, that we take this presentation under advisement. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. That is very helpful, very helpful. You answered some things and given some information that's really needed to help in decision making. You guys always do.
Any questions, give us a call.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
See ya.
Go have a good
Do the same.
Yes, sir. Next on the agenda, we have Golden Triangle Planning Development District, GSI mapping. Mr. Tony Sanford, good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, everybody. Good morning, world. Let's see here, I have some handouts for you. Take my coat off. Let's get going.
Toby, say your last name again, correct?
Sanford, Sanford, just like Sanford and Sanford. You have to figure it out.
No, I can't do it, that towel deal. I'm back here, Toby, I need one. Thank you, sir.
I didn't realize you take one and pass it down. First thing I'm gonna show you is what we did for Water Valley, Mississippi. I don't know if, I do. You know, everybody?
If I got one.
This is what we did for Water Valley. I don't know if y'all know Tommy Reynolds or not. He was a state representative for a long time. He is now their mayor. I did redistricting quite a bit with Mr. Tommy, and he heard we had this truck and asked me if I could come to Water Valley and rate every one of their roads. They have 126 roads. This is their road registry. You see here, it tells you the road name, tells you where it begins, where it ends, section, township, and range, how many miles it is, and how many feet it is for that particular road. Well, you'll see a very color-coded line right next to the name that says PCI. That's Pavement Condition Index. So I drive every road, come back, put it in my software, and then my software will rate that road with a number. Just like they used to do with visually. People get in a car and they rate your roads.
You're riding with a device that's spread out and explain that real
You'll see,
quick.
I have a whole long thing here for you. So, but you see Abernathy Cove got an 88. That's not a bad score. The very top tells you the rating numbers. 76 to 100 is a good, satisfactory. 51 to 75 is fair. 26 to 50 is poor. 0 to 25 and you fail. Berkshire Road, you see it is a 17. What that would do, it also generates a report that goes with every one of these roads. Take one that has about half of it over here.
The reason I asked that question, that's unbiased, objective data.
That's unbiased. The computer is doing this. And I'm going to get into showing you how it rates them, why it rates them, why it can do what it does. So this is a report. It has that number. I'm looking at Campground Road. The Campground Road is on this list. It is right there. It got a 34. Tells you it's paved, begins and ends, all that. This document tells you the 34 and why it got a 34.
Oh, which document? You on the staple document?
Yes, I'm on the state. If you look at the other pages, it tells you why it got a 34. It gives you its math, show your work, right? Well, it shows you how it's deducted.
Which page are you on?
I'm on this one here, the stapled one.
Gotcha.
All these things are bumps, rutting, depressions. Well, those are all imperfections of that road that it picked up on. So this is the kind of thing that I could do for every road in this county.
Toby, as you're riding over the road, the computer in the road realizes there are bumps in the road?
Yes, sir. Well, it doesn't do it real time like that. What it's doing is mapping. So this is the website.
But it's that detailed, that kind of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It maps at centimeter accuracy. The actual mapping X, Y, Z is centimeter, which is very tiny. The lasers themselves map at millimeter. So a millimeter difference it will detect in elevation. And that's very tiny. It's almost survey grade.
Wow, okay.
These are videos, so I thought the best way to show you is to show what I'm doing. This is the website I built for them. When I zoom in on this website, you start to see these colors. Same colors that are on this score. You see Wood Street. Wood Street got I think it's a 12. If I click on that polygon, it tells me that it got a 12. It tells me the bumps, depressions, all the things it picked up you see on the map. Bumps, depressions. That is the report directly in the website. You don't have to have it on a hard drive. You're seeing it from your computer in your office, your desktop engineering. Now, that doesn't mean much to y'all, but it would mean something to your engineer. And it's a rating system. I mean, that's what it's for. If I click on that imperfection, it tells me it's a bump, tells me how big it is, its severity level is low. So that's not a very bad bump, but it still picked up the bump.
And
So,
I was just gonna say, like, when you're riding these roads, you know, we've been in a lot of meetings with the, you know, with the 911 stuff, that next gen and all that's supposed to be coming out. And if we had a, you know, major catastrophe or whatever,
it
does
recorded it.
this record all the,
You're looking at what it records, and you get to this website directly from the mapping website. You can drop down anywhere that I've driven and see the street view. Not only can you do that, I'm going to go through different steps of the things you could do sitting in your office or the engineer in his office.
so this could be integrated into our 911 system?
That I wouldn't have it any other way
Okay, well,
It
they
has
can
to
pull it
be, and
all
I have
up
a
and
slide
look
for
at it
that.
and see it.
to show you what it'll do.
And because I know we've been mapped before, but it's been a long time ago, this
Well,
whole county.
Yeah, this is just an addition. That is right. We do your addressing, this would be part of it. It would just merge into what we already do. So all those imperfections can be pulled into the 360 imagery. I can see them on the ground. And it picks up things depending on what settings I tell it. It would pick up a millimeter change, but you don't want something, you'd start to pick up rocks, things like that. We're looking for imperfections in the road, cracks. Now, the LiDAR is in this website. I can control what the LiDAR does. If I want to see the LiDAR, right now it's invisible. I can make it transparent. I can go all the way to 100%, but you can see that's what those lasers mapped. It picked up the light lines, the light poles, the ground. All of the things it picks up has X, Y, and Z. That means latitude, longitude, and elevation.
And Toby,
Centimeter.
we talking a lot about roads, but say for instance, a tornado come through or something like that, we need to give a MEMA and FEMA, and, you know, for reimbursement, and we could go back and show them
Before and after.
before and after,
So
and which
the
would
first-
speed that process
The
up.
first thing we would do after a tornado is drive it again. You already have the before.
Mhm.
The after comes together, it'll show you where everything that's changed.
They can look side by
And you put them
side.
side by side. From this website, we can do measurements. What kind of measurements? Well, if I'm slowly pulling across, you can do standard, single point, snap up, snap down, height, volume, and area. If I'm going to do a standard measurement, let's say I wanted to draw out that crack you see right there. Well, I can draw it out. It tells me how long it is, how big it is. It tells me the slope, the angle, the distribution is 25 feet, 5 inches from side to side. I can do a snap down measurement. Let's say we want to know how much clearance you had under that line right there. Well, that's 14 feet, 6 inches. 14 feet 6 inches. I go closer to the pole, well, it's got a swag to it, that's 17 feet 2 inches.
So
We can measure that light pole.
one of the things I asked early on, the city, who determines this road gets paid? The city would go back to an unbiased professional engineer and let them decide, not the politicians. So the county, what this would do is get us out of this, and we could let you rate all the roads, and maybe
And
if they were.
then you plan. You know what the rating of the road is.
You do that, and then also, well, not all that from you, but let's get to like, what are the costs on, this is mind blowing to me, honestly.
We'll get to it. It's not as expensive as you think it will
Is
be.
this the price you're talking about per
It's per mile.
mile?
So if I wanted to map that garbage can, from this website, that's the X, Y, and height above sea level. I can take all of these measurements that we do and export it out in a table and pull it into my mapping software. You could do it directly from your office. You could map something and give it to Vic, X, Y, Z.
Just like we do right now, when we want to figure out the distance, you can map it. If you want to do a locate ticket, you can actually measure that distance from the office right now.
That tells me the slope of that sidewalk. You can see if your sidewalks are ADA compliant from this. It's a 6.36 degree slope. Anything above 8% is not compliant for wheelchair. All right, I can do cross sections of any road. And I'm going to incorporate these steps here. I'm going to start a cross section from the very top of these steps, and we're going to go across this road. And it's going to create a graph. And that graph shows you height, length. If I run my mouse down that, it shows you where I am on the road. I can find the center of the road. I can find the center of these steps. I can climb these steps. I can export that graph out and put it in a presentation like this one. There's that cross section of that road. This is Longview Road. Y'all should recognize this. It's right out there in Longview. I did this as a demonstration for y'all back in the summer to show you what we could do with it. This is what I did. Every road in this county would have this type of mapping. I can drop down in the street. I can look at this bridge. I can turn around. I could drive this entire road if I wanted to, sitting in my office. Let's say you wanted to measure the 4 corners, or I wanted to map this bridge. I wouldn't have to go out there in person. I'm fixing to do a single point on that corner. It tells me the X, Y, and Z. Latitude, longitude, height above sea level. Those coordinates can be put into anything and show you exactly where that's located on this planet. I can map this sign. I'm about to show you, I think, it blew my mind when I realized that it was able to pick this up. Go to the next one. So we're going to do a cross section of this bridge. I'm going to cut the point cloud on so I can see it. And that is LiDAR. And I'm going to do a cross section. I'm going to draw it straight across this bridge from from side to side. That is your elevation profile. And again, if I run my mouse down this, it shows me where I am down here. So I'm going to take my mouse. It tells me the height. You can see it's going right there. Well, you see that dip right there? Do you know what that is? That is a seam. It picked up the seams. Measurable. And you can see the other seams. There's a seam, that one. There's one right there. There's one right there. There's that graph. I can export it out and email it to somebody if I needed to. This is the device that's doing all this. This is what I am using to map all this stuff. It is a Trimble MX50 mobile mapper. Let's talk about accuracy and precision, and this will be on the test, so please pay attention. Some people don't understand the difference between accuracy and precision. We just lump them together, but they are different. I can have high precision and low accuracy. I can be precisely wrong all day long. Accuracy and precision, you want them both right in the center. I want to hit that bullseye every time. Well, this device will do that every time. It sits on the back of my truck. It has 2 LiDAR sensors. You see right there, it will map 80 meters on each side of the vehicle, which is about 160 feet. So you're taking about 300 and something feet every time I drive it down the road. It's got a ladybug-oriented imager camera that takes the 360 panoramic images that you see where you're able to drop down in the street. It creates a point cloud of 2 million points a second. So what does that actually mean? What is that point really doing? This is all it's doing. That laser is going out and it is hitting something and it's mapping it. It's creating a point, X, Y, and Z. If you had it in this room, it would map the entire room. It's walls, ceilings, floor, all of it. And you can see that the curvature, regardless of what it is, it maps it. This is how I see it. Now this is in my software. If it will go. I may be almost too far away from my little clicker. That is point cloud LiDAR. Now it may be a little difficult to see, but you can see the trees, the buildings. It mapped all of this. That is not an image. That's millions of little points on everything that it hit. The light poles, the light lines, the trees, the fire hydrants. Well, if there's something that's turned on, it is classified, and I don't want it, I'm slowly turning things off. I turn the buildings off, I'll turn the trees off. Let's say I turn the ground off. Where'd it go? Well, there it is. The signs, it mapped all of them. The fence, I'm going to turn the poles off, they go away. The light lines are still there, well, I'm going to turn them on. I'm going to turn the signs off. I'm going to turn that fence off. And what you're left with is strictly the ground. It's that ground that we use to rate that road. And that goes a little squirrely, but I back out here and you can see the curvature of that road, elevation. You can see where he went around the car driving. Classified point cloud. This is what I can classify. Everything you see here, vegetation, buildings, noise, road surface, wires, all of that is built into what I have. I can extract power poles, street signs, hydrants, front doors, curb and gutter, power lines, slope of the road, and things I've probably not even thought of yet that we would need. Machine learning, AI, and LiDAR. So you teach it what a dog looks like, and it finds all dogs. And those are my 3 dogs. That's Hattie, T-Bone, and Penny. That'll be on the test. Remember their names. Well, if you go to your iPhone right now and go to your photos and search dog, it's going to show you every picture of every dog you have in your photo library. I have 565 photos of dogs. Well, how does it do that? Somebody taught your iPhone what a dog looks like. Not only did they teach you what a dog looks like, they taught it what a dog doesn't look like. Because it'll find cats. I was told it'll find a deer. If you have pictures of deer, it will automatically show you every picture you have of the deer. You can tag people's faces. Well, that's what it's doing. I'm taking that LiDAR and someone or myself has trained it, that's every power pole in the industrial park over by my office. And it's immediate. I click a button, this is all of them, I can export that out in any format you want. This is a section in Columbus. All I want you to pay attention to is that light pole and these 3 signs. If you look here side by side, you can't really see it in the sunlight, but there's a sign, and a pole. Well, that's those objects that I pulled out. If I click on that sign right there, it tells me how much it's leaning, 13.6 degrees inclination. It tells me how high it is, inclination, and the direction it's leaning for every sign that it maps. That light pole has a 1.07 degree inclination, which you don't want your light pole leaning 13 degrees. It tells me the diameter of that light pole, the height of that light pole, the inclination, and which way it's leaning. And all I have to do is click on it. And you would be able to click on it from your map that you have in your office. So I can do highway assets, utility assets, county and city assets, accurate ground models, engineering profiles and cross sections, road service information, NG 911 addressing, your own street view, and it's yours. It doesn't belong to Google, some private company in California. Trimble Business Center and its exports. We'll go through these. I can do the LiDAR and multiple exports that your engineer would want. I can do CAD exports because most engineers think in CAD. I can give them DWGs, any CAD file, anything I pull out, I can give to them in a engineering format. I can do GIS. We can pull it into Google Earth, ArcMap, georeferenced images, attribute data. I can create contour maps. I created a contour map of the cemetery here in Starkville in about 15 minutes, where it would have taken a team of engineers more than 30 days. Because you got to go out there and get lots of sample points for elevations. Well, I just did it by driving through there. When we first bought this, I wanted it for 911 response. And just it so happens that it'll do all these other things as well. And all I have to do is drive down the road. For 911 response, Miss Patty, this is Choctaw County's emergency mapping system. So there's a 911 emergency at 140 Nichols Road. All I have to do from this map is go search for 140 Nichols Road. It immediately finds 140 Nichols Road once I type in enough information. It will take you to that location in the map where you've got the address, the city, supervisor, justice court, voting precinct. The building is a brick house. 140 Nichols. I have a photo of it, just like we have a photo of every structure in this county, but all that is a flat photo. I can click on the photo and I can't do anything else with that photo. If I click on what I'm calling 911 Street View, it takes us to that 911 Street View. That dispatcher can sit there and pan around. That he can tell the dispatcher can tell the first responders things about the area. There's a building across the road. There's a truck in the front yard. They have a very large dog. They have a horse. I could measure that building if I wanted to. I can tell you how far away it was. If I go to what I call Google Maps and I click on...
That's real time. That's going to be real time.
It's not real time. It's when you drove the car.
Yeah.
So it would be whatever date it was when I drove it.
What day?
Yeah. That's right. If I click the Google Street View, well, guess what? It tells me right here that Google Street View doesn't have any Street View imagery of that road. There's so many roads in this county that don't either. Well, imagine being able to drop down in any street, anywhere, at any time.
Is that 911 utilize this?
They do in Choctaw County. Y'all don't have it
Map
yet.
here.
Y'all don't have it yet. What we have done with this MX-50, we have completely mapped Choctaw, Lowndes, City of Water Valley, Atala. We are currently mapping them. That is our current active project. These people are getting in queue. December the 11th, we met with the city of Jackson. They want a proposal. I think they're probably going to want every street in Jackson mapped. December 16th, which is tomorrow, we meet with the Choctaw Nation. And they have a lot of land. They're probably going to want us to drive everything they own. January 29th, we're meeting for the second time Lauderdale County, and they are probably going to sign a contract. So I'm doing these as we get them, as we get signed contracts. I want to make sure the 7 counties I cover are taken care of first. So that's why I'm coming to see y'all. If this is something that y'all are interested in, we can do this for this county. And it wouldn't take as long for y'all because we're in the center of your county. Talent County, I have to drive to. It takes me an hour to get there and an hour to get back. So you've lost 2 hours every day driving there. Lauderdale County, we're probably going to have to stay in motels and hotels.
So I just want to make sure I'm really getting that this is correct. So this could have a 2- or 3-fold benefit for our county. We could use the information and upload it to, which y'all would grade the roads anyway. But if we needed to, we could upload it to engineering firm that has that capability, and they can work projects from there possibly. The same, and we can use it for our 911, which will make sure that we have updated, all of our imagery for everything for all of them to see, and do out there. And for the road department, where they can have all these new structures and the new roads and stuff, they can actually pull the measurements and stuff
That's right.
that they're wanting.
You can map every bridge in this county sitting in your office instead of putting somebody in a truck with a map and marking things on a map. That's centimeter.
Yeah, that's good. And every time you drive this road, it will update that, whatever is in the information.
That's right. That's right. And then when you get, if we did it this year, and we did it again in 3 years, and then another 3 years, then you have a building data set. You can show where things started to degrade. The first time we did it, this road got an 88. Well, the third time we did it, it got a 50. Kind of thing. You can start to really plan.
I just think having this sheet right here, the county will have,
You'd have,
and all trees right there.
we already have a road register. All I would do is add that score to your register, just like I did with that.
And within that, obviously, you can't pave every road, but I know when you were showing me this, when they show the Google, the street view or the sky view, that's some really bad. One road might have the worst. You look at the really bad sections and then get patched first. And I was just thinking of New Light, which we've already solved that. But I mean, those would be very, very visible on here.
Yeah.
I think it's great technology. How much is it?
$150 a mile. I did send Mr. Carpenter a contract that had it in there, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was somewhere around $112,000.
$112,423. I did have a question about that contract. I'm a little fuzzy on what it means. The language talks about transferring data to the county in standard formats, and it says that it may incur additional costs.
That would be the
I'm trying to understand
extraction.
what that means.
So the $150 a mile gets you the data for mapping the roads. That's us driving the roads. If you want me to do the rating of the road, that is $150 an hour for me to rate them.
This right here?
An hour.
Yep.
And how many roads can you grade in an hour?
It takes about 15 minutes per road, and the length of it really doesn't matter. It takes about the same amount of time. Short roads, of course, will finish faster than a 10-mile road, but it's about 15 minutes a road. I would estimate 30 days probably to rate every road in this county.
So it's $112,000 plus to get
Plus,
the grading.
that's right, however much time I put in to extract the things you want. Now, the street view is created automatically. There is no extraction cost for that. I would immediately extract the street view, create you a website, and tie it to 911. That's part of it. That doesn't take anything for me to do that.
So
That's
probably
just-
on that street view, would that include where the map would show the flaws in that road?
Yes, well, that would be if we rate your
Right,
rate.
that's your rate.
That's right, it would be part of it once we rated it.
Toby, is there any educational?
How long would it take to train you?
You're where I'm at. I'm trying to
I
figure
could
out. how to
probably
say-
make you dangerous in about 30 minutes.
I guess what I'm getting at is, we're gonna pay you $112,000 to drive the road,
And you
all
get,
right, and we get the 911 Google Maps, for example.
Yep.
Everything after that's extra.
that's right. If you wanted, which we already have your fire hydrants, but for example, pull out all the fire hydrants. It would be the time, $150 an hour to extract that information out of the data. Now it's mapped, and it's mapped forever. It's in that data. It just takes somebody.
Do
to
we
go
own
in
the
and-
data, or do you own the data?
You own the data.
So if I asked you to give me a copy of the data, you'd be able to give it to me in standard format?
You better have a big hard drive.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure the two main things would be mapping and grading of the roads. We definitely want those, that information pulled out.
Yeah.
You can pull out the grading of the roads, and then whatever additional, maybe bridges, possibly signage. I don't know how important that
Yeah, that's
would be,
what
We
my
can
next
pull the
question.
signs out, all of them, they'd be mapped X, Y, Z. Now, some of this stuff from that website, y'all can map yourself. You wouldn't need me, because the website will let you map things if you wanted to yourself.
So if we wanted to go in and map signs,
You
we
would
can
mark
just
them.
go to those intersections and mark them and see what's there or what need to be there.
That's right.
Okay.
Toby, what would be the advantage or disadvantage either way with including MSU and Strasburg or excluding MSU and Strasburg?
The disadvantage is they wouldn't be part of the 911 system, and Starville has pretty much opted out anything that the county has ever done. They opted out the first time when we created your addressing system. They were slow to the game. Now, we finally caught them up in addressing, but they wouldn't have the street view. Nothing in the city would have the ability to do what you're doing in the county. I pulled them out of that contract unless they wanted to join it with y'all. I would say if they wanted to pay their share, that's up to the city and y'all.
But I mean, would it pose a public safety concern somewhere down the line? That's a loaded question.
Well, I've actually been to some locations and used my phone, and it actually went to street view. You could actually view the street. It would tell you which way the street went. It would show you the signs, and it actually came to your phone because they already had that mapping system in place. So it's a good thing, and it and then going and putting the rating in it is really good, because you can tell what the flaws are. You can tell where you need to actually do repair work, and get a road ready to be resurfaced or repaved, all of that, and you can actually sit there and kind of create a cost by what you're looking at on the map without driving out there and spending a whole day in a pickup. So it's a good thing.
I think it's just extraordinary and extremely valuable. The one question I had in my brain, what's gravel road? How's it going to grade gravel?
You
And
can't grade a gravel road. How is it going to get worse than gravel?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the rating of a gravel road. It does pick up the dust. The LiDAR picks up the dust as you drive, so it really isn't useful as far as the LiDAR goes, but the 360 imagery is fun.
so from gravel out is just for the 911 capabilities.
It's just for the night for your gravel roads. Now, it will still see the signs on the gravel road. You just can't see the ground. But what could I rate a gravel road other than?
Oh, there's a lot of washout, a lot of different things on gravel roads that we would need to know.
That's low.
You know,
You can see it. You can see it as far as the visual goes, but the LiDAR picks up the dust.
Gravel road.
If you do it'll be mapping for 911 purposes.
That's right. It'd be mapped for 911.
I think
Will it do cross sections on gravel roads, or is the dust interfering?
The dust interferes with it.
Okay, that's what I'm trying, okay.
That's right. It sure does. Now, if you do it on a day that it just rained, and you can plan those kind of things, I can't map in the rain either. The rain doesn't hurt the device, but it picks up the raindrops. So you just have a cloud of all the raindrops mapped, but it's not very dusty after it rains.
So, and I understand you live in this county and you do, you know, have us in best interest, but I mean, from an education standpoint, this is not very valuable to me, because I don't know how to operate. We spend 30 minutes, we need to determine who in the county, if every supervisor is gonna need to be trained. I mean, I would like.
I just said
would
that
like to be
we,
dangerous.
no extra cost and then training them.
Are the supervisors?
So,
Anybody that wanted a training session.
so do the board want to identify a number and say, we want to spend up to this amount and get whatever we can?
I'd like to make a motion, we just take the action that's recommended. The action was authorize the administrative board attorney to negotiate identified adjustments regarding the cost,
He just did what I wanted to do.
and move forward with that recommendation.
That motion.
So move.
Second,
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Williams.
I do have a question though.
Discussion.
Whatever you can always add to what have already not been added later, of course, with additional costs. But other items could be added.
That's right, if you just paved the road and you wanted it to be part of it, we could add that road to the data that's already mapped.
So if we said, had a road that rated 12, and we went out there and did a big piece of work on it, we wanted it added back into the current inventory, we'd say, hey, Toby, run out there and drive that road and let's get it updated.
Yep,
That'd be a cost, but I would.
Oh, yes, I'm
it's
sure.
$150 a mile. And if you go to a private company that has one of these, they charge anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a mile. And yeah, that price, you couldn't do every road in this county. That's just outlandish. They also charge a mobilization fee. If you had 1 mile of road you wanted mapped, it's gonna cost you $5,000 just to get it on site.
The best way to think about what Toby's presenting is this is a measurement tool. The baseline cost is you're simply measuring. You're replacing measurement by men with measurement by a very, very precise machine. And then once you have that data, and the best benefit is to have it on frequently, every year, every few years, set a cycle. And when you do that, then you can extract, by paying more money, all the things that you might want to put in motion, like you want your signs. You might want to sell the data and have, partner with Fort County, and they might want to measure their lines. Does our contract allow that? But if you do the base measurement, that allows you to go upwards and increase more benefits. That's it.
You've done well.
Thanks.
So much.
Thank y'all.
We just need to learn from you.
All in favor of moving forward without allowing our administrator and attorney look at the contract? All in favor? Motion passes you 4-0.
Don't worry, this sneaks out.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Toby. Next on the agenda, we have our election commissioner, Mr. Dennis Daniel. Good morning, sir.
Thank y'all. Good morning. Appreciate y'all letting me come by. My stuff's not in school with Toby. So,
He has some pretty cool stuff.
2 updates in the election process. Ones y'all be aware of. Number one big thing coming up that a lot of the people in the community aren't aware of is the primary election process. In the past, primaries have typically been in April. They've been in August. Now they're moving to March. So our first primary will be March. This year will be March 10th. So start letting people know. Be getting ready to get out and vote in March for the primaries. State, local, well, any primary, state, local, federal, whatever, will be March. March 10th this year. So press, please get that word out. People don't expect that. The other change that I need y'all's approval on today is.
And I know this doesn't, but I'm just curious, this is gonna be from here going forward, right?
We're going forward.
Okay.
Primary will be in March.
Okay.
That all.
Y'all got it.
March of 2020.
I guess that's what he said.
Yes, my first, so
So everybody qualifies in
January.
January.
and then you have
Got
a
30
primary
days.
in March.
Okay.
And how is the general still in November?
general will still be in November. So I guess you get your primary over earlier and give your candidates a lot longer time to campaign and get the word out between the primary and the general. Now, that's all subject to change, because they just changed it on here, so I can't say what's gonna happen 3 years from now, but as of right now, primaries will be in, March. The other thing that I need y'all's approval on today, so in the past, this the process for hiring poll workers. In the past, the election commission, at our discretion, was allowed to hire by state law up to 9 poll workers, especially for our larger precincts, North Starkville 3, South Starkville, Hickory Grove. New law says that we are allowed at our discretion to hire up to 3, and anything beyond that, at the approval of the board of supervisors. So I know it says in the minutes we're coming to ask to hire extra poll workers. No, we're coming to get permission to hire what we normally hire, because now we have to get permission to hire them, where in the past we could do it at our own discretion. So, for example, North Starkville 3 typically have about 6 or 7 poll workers there. So we can hire 3, but we got to get y'all to approve the extra 3. So why they do that, I don't know. A smaller precinct, I can hire, like Bell Schoolhouse, I've got the authority to hire 6. So why I've got to come ask to hire the extra 3 for a bigger precinct, I don't know, but that's the new state law. So we're asking y'all to approve us to hire what we normally hire.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Williams. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate that information.
Okay, next on, let's see, where are we? Okay, next on the agenda, our tax assessor collector, Ms. Joellen Walker. Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody today? I want to present a resolution, for this to be accepted into the board about helping people to realize their delinquent property taxes. This is just an educational tool and to try to remove us out of the line of fire. And when I spoke to some of you all, the example that I gave is when you buy a new house, who's thinking about property taxes? So when you come in to sign homestead, we're just letting you know that there are delinquent taxes or prior taxes due that you need to take care of so that it won't go to land sale. And I have the statutes in here, and I bought a report just when I did land sale. I turned over $1.5 million in land sale. That was very disturbing to me. And with this, when they come in to do homestead, we'll just simply let them know if their prior or delinquent taxes due, and that they can go see Shannon Williamson, or even the previous tax assessor, Mr. Alan Morgan, if he had a lien against some property, then they have to go to Mr. Tony Rock's office to take care of these issues, and they can't say we didn't know about it. So this is what I'm presenting to be.
Let me ask you.
Yes, sir.
During the closing process, and we're talking about a person purchasing a home, right?
Yes, sir.
During the closing process, is it the attorney's responsibility to identify delinquent taxes and things of that nature?
That is correct, because this is what they do a title search, or the closing agent who's selling the home.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But you want to do further education by letting the person that's purchasing that home know that you need to follow.
That is correct. Once you come to the homestead.
Yeah, that's right. If the attorney fails to do so.
Maybe so, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I can't say positively, but
Maybe.
yes, sir.
So now, I guess, I don't know, Tony Brooks' office, what do they have to do?
Sometimes they, like if you purchase a business or anything that, when you come into my office and there's something that I see or one of my staff see, we're gonna let you know they're delinquent taxes, because when you pay some of the personal property taxes, it will not let you proceed any further. And I entered into a contract where I don't have to put liens on property, because the financial institution that I use, they do it. So I don't have to use the manpower, paperwork, postage, material, or anything. So there could be something that the previous tax assessor did that could be cleaned up.
Well, that's good, because it really put in, you go a step further to put that work on yourself to make sure they know
Somebody
that they are delinquent taxes.
Yes, sir.
In search of justice, they will be aware of it and they can take care of it.
Or even a small claims for a civil matter.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to clean up in all entities for October County.
I motion to adopt a resolution.
Thank you, sir.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
And if you were to sign it, and, President, just at the bottom,
I mean, one question.
Okay.
And Rob looked at that, and he,
oh, yes, sir, I did, excuse me, yes, ma'am, I did speak with Rob about it, and, he thought it was very, very good. Also, another thing, with this year, I had to drive to, Clinton, because I found out I was at threat while I was about to fail an audit as far as homestead goes, because there were minor things such as, some people's social security numbers were wrong, and I'm not gonna fail an audit, I'm sorry. So if I gotta travel to Jackson that day, that's what I'm gonna do. And I came up with a form, this is it right here, that even if they decline to give their social, and I know people are reluctant to do that, because who walks around with their social security number, or their card, but so that you can get this homestead and it's granted to you, you know, you can get this, or if they say, I don't want to bring my social security number, you just sign this and say, well, there's a chance your homestead could be rejected. So we will have acknowledgement saying that you did not want to give your social. Because that's a lot of the things I failed, almost failed with my homestead audit, the social security numbers were wrong. And
So there's another option other than the social security card, another form of ID that's accepted?
passport, or typically, you know, we have people that come in, they are not given a social security number yet. They could be coming in from Mississippi State University, from a different country, and once they get it, then we have to have that, so that their homestead won't be thrown out. And I do have the statutes attached, and that, hopefully in that.
that's what I was looking for.
There's not a signature page.
Yeah, I don't see a
Supervisor Howard.
Okay, well, you can just sign the bottom of it, and I'll go with that.
If you'd like, Joey, I'll put it in the
Please.
official resolution format and get it all adopted for you and make sure you get a copy.
Thank
Do you have to have it today?
Just whenever you can.
Okay, we can probably get it, me Supervisor Howard, you to get things signed the day after the board meeting.
That would be
So
wonderful.
we'll get it in the, all formatted pretty for you and have it.
This homestead opens January 5th, is that correct?
January 5th, yes, and I will have a publication in the newspaper. Attorney Robertson, they wanted to know if you looked at my resolution and what you thought of it,
Which one?
for delinquent property taxes.
It's fine, it's a standard, just like what we've done in the past.
We'll get that signed tomorrow and get you copied.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, next on the agenda, we have a road manager, Mr. Victor Collins.
Good morning.
That's why, that's
I can imagine this is the only thing.
Yeah, you don't have to sit
Believe it
down
or
for
not.
that. You don't have to sit down for that.
Well, I got a few more.
That's why I left the big opening on my book.
Hopefully not to purchase anything then.
No, it's
Thanks for closing.
it's true, it's pretty
Thanks for
fast.
close till next year.
Now, number one,
I didn't know that.
I was called over to the school bus shop to look at the parking lot. They're asking us if we come over and regrade the parking lot. They have some other stuff we're looking at they may want to do later, but they just want to get some holes filled in on that parking lot.
Motion we allow road department to grade the parking lot for the school. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Next thing on my list, and we ready to get this bumped up and sealed. We have a quote here for the Maven Post Office. The final, everything themselves is ready for concrete to be poured. And I think I may have about 5 quotes here.
You'll find that under the county
That's on yours,
administrator.
that's on yours.
Yeah, I was gonna handle that, Vic, if you wanna, if you wanna hang around just in case they got some questions, I got all that stuff in the packet in my.
Okay.
I was thinking it was a
Yeah.
procurement issue more than a.
Yeah, that's on your report.
Do you wanna go ahead since?
We can, if y'all, if, I
Make a
just,
motion to approve.
yeah, everything good, I mean, if y'all got an opportunity to look at everything good with.
Yeah, I guess a little bit of discussion. I think we're supposed to be trying to identify the rest of the money, Senator Williams.
What Bart and I talked last week, we're trying to figure out where the rest of the money's gonna come from, but you may have input.
Okay, go ahead
We've got enough money to cover this.
Good deal. Okay.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I was supposed to get back with you with that.
Yeah.
We do have enough money. I did talk.
Okay.
We got enough money to cover this.
So
Okay,
we're good to go.
So we good to go. I mean, all we
To
need
complete
is
this
approval to
project.
proceed.
He got, I think, $36,000, and what's the bid on this thing? Yeah.
Low bid is 21.
You're gonna have a little money left over.
Okay, good deal. That'll be good news. So, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little, all in favor? Motion passes unanimously, okay?
All right. Last thing, on my side is we have two, entry to property coverage requests. Keith, do you have those?
Yes, one is for Edwin Edwards. He's at 51 Edwards Drive, Crawford. He likes to access his property, which is located on Cedar Lane.
Crawford. Cedar Lane, some of these access I need to know about before the meeting. Y'all need to talk to me, especially in District 5, because we got one now that shouldn't have been approved. So I'd like to get an opportunity to review that with you and come back and make that recommendation later.
Okay, all right.
Table that one.
Okay, we have one more, and it's in District 5 also.
We'll table that one too.
Okay.
From the experience that I've got, it is not good.
Yeah, all right.
If we're
The
doing-
school bus, okay, I'm sorry. The school bus turnaround?
We did that, that was at the bus barn.
Okay, I thought-
That's
Yeah,
the parking
right
lot.
there, drive.
Parking
That's
lot.
parking
Not
lot.
turnaround.
This is not a turnaround.
Well, they fill out a turnaround form, because that's what they.
Yeah, they put it on the turnaround form, and so that's,
It was just a little confusing.
Yeah.
Normally turnaround is not at the bus station.
yeah, but they put it on a turnaround form, and that's.
Okay, because their bus manager just did what he always does, he filled out a form.
And sent it over to the, well, actually, the superintendent came over and we all kind of looked at it.
Okay.
Like I said, they got some other stuff they want to do, but they want us to give them some figures on it and then come back to the board for something done doing in the spring of the year.
Supervisor Little, you,
Yes, I was just gonna say, if we were doing culverts, I had one.
oh, okay.
It is Chuck Spriggs on Longview Road off of 25. And, I got his number and everything. So it's immediately on the left, behind the massive rental houses.
And you said Chuck Spriggs?
SPRIGGS.
Okay, and it's, that location again, please, ma'am?
It's, off Longview Road.
Okay.
Second request.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Trainer, all in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
You don't have a number for me.
662-299-2496. And that's Laura Williams. You can call her, she's in town.
2499?
2496.
Okay.
299-2496.
Okay, while we're doing covers then, and this actually cover replacement, so it fall under maintenance, but at 160 Van Fulham Road.
Second request.
Been moved by Supervisor Howell, second by Supervisor Trainer, all in favor, motion passes unanimously. The name on that is Larry Tipton.
Well, it doesn't, it's not, on the replacement,
Okay.
it's not even, we don't even have to, you can just call us with those,
Okay.
but, okay.
Supervisor
Yeah.
Carver, I think.
We got two, new ones, it's BSW and, BSW Investments. 2283 John High. 2283 John High. 2265 John High. 2265.
Need to access the property.
The number is 769-1928. They've got a black line on pavement to Mark Center. I'll ask you, we can carry that motion.
We need a second.
Second. It's been motioned by Supervisor Carver, second by Supervisor Williams. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
We're having a bunch of new construction out there, but the garbage cans, we're on hold until, Christmas or?
After Christmas. Hopefully in about maybe 2 weeks after Christmas, we may have it.
What do we do? Just fix them? Y'all have wheels and
Well,
rods?
we do have some wheels in place, and we did find you do have a few more cans at Sturgis, but the shop is out. We borrowed some from Sturgis, so we did leave about 4 down there. So
I don't know if he's got any more, because I had 4, well, I actually had 6.
yeah,
And I sent some in the last one now.
yeah, that may have killed us.
Because you texted me and said,
We almost done.
we out, so maybe
That probably knocked us out.
They had a worker, I think y'all read this, so just remember these families that work in this dangerous job, but they had a gentleman run up and killed the driver of the truck, ran up on one of our garbage truck workers and it sliced his leg, but he's dying, he's in stable condition, but,
You said,
Yeah,
somebody hit one of our,
over in Columbus, it was
Columbus.
And I'm glad you
The
brought that up.
driver ran up on the back of the garbage truck when it was in Columbus that day, and I just talked to Mary Ann, I said, yeah, if there's something we can do, he works here too, but she said, no, he's in stable condition, and, just remember.
Well, I'm glad you brought, because I was gonna mention that too. Pray for these guys that work on these trucks. I mean, it was just a millimeter from losing a second, garbage worker from getting killed.
She said there was one a couple of years ago, maybe?
Well, it wasn't even a couple of years ago. This was a guy that was they were backing down in a pit bull. He was on the back, pit bull pulled him off, the driver didn't see him and backed over.
So I asked her what we could do as a board, and she said that she didn't think in this instance, but she said in May, I think they do an annual cooking. I said, let us know, we'll come out and support, and it's in honor of that gentleman, so we'll talk in May.
We always contribute to that. But one of the things that I got Mary Ann to do was increase the lighting on the back of the trucks. I remember once I was coming down Highway 82 on the 4-lane, and they had been on a gravel road. It was bad, dusty, and you could barely see the lights blinking on the truck. So she spec'd out, all the new trucks are spec'd out and retrofitted with lots of safety.
That is something we tried to do with all of our vehicles. When I came back, most of them were out or wasn't working, and we spent a lot of money putting those lights back, even on the dump trucks. I mean, even on my truck, 'cause a lot of time when you pull up to a place and you knock your head at one place and you open the door and get out, a car go by just like that, and that's the first thing we tell them on Monday morning meeting. Beware of your surroundings and be careful.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Since we're on coverage issue, my concern is that when a coverage is being requested, especially in District 5, that I have some knowledge about where that coverage is being put and the reason for it being put there, because it does have to come across this desk to be approved. most of the time when you say a covered request for John Brown, well, I'm gonna honor your request, but I have no idea why that cover is being put there. We have a situation now, and I don't know whether the board approved that cover or not, but that cover is put in a dangerous location. It's in Dead Man's Curve. You know what curve I'm talking about?
Yeah.
People have actually got killed in that curve. And we put a cover right there in the curve itself. And I want people to have access to their property, true enough. But we need, and I don't know even what's the reason for that cover being there.
Well, it was the access property, and it was one there before, that one. It was having taken out because of drainage issues, and they requested one to go back.
Well, I'm gonna motion that we do a detailed study on the safety issue that involved to that cover and make a report to the board, come back with a report as to whether or not there's a safety issue or not. If it's not, that's fine. But I'd like for our sheriff department to be involved in that.
Well, to say this, I did go out and look at it, and the cover was put where the person coming out could see from both directions that when they were entering the road.
Right. Well, we need a detailed study because something is gonna happen. When that person pull out in that curve like that, something gonna happen because people already got killed in that curve and they put a cover there, so we got constant traffic going in and out. That's gonna be a problem. So I want the board to be able to say, that's fine. Not for me to be able to say because it's in District 5, so they're gonna say, well, Joe approved that cover to be at that location. So I'd like to have a detailed study of the safety issue that's involved with that cover being in that curve like that. And I'd like for you to get our sheriff department involved and other people too who know about safety and traffic flow.
So, Bob, when you
That's motion.
You meaning just that one, you're not talking about every cover?
No, sir. No, sir. Okay. Just, and you drive that, and you all need to drive that road yourself. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Something's gonna happen. Someone is gonna get killed, just trying to turn into there or even coming out of there.
Motion by Supervisor Williams that there is a safety study done on a covered installation at what?
It's in the curve of Williams Road. Do you know the address to that?
I don't have it with me.
But
I'll
in the
second
curve.
that motion.
And second,
The address is on the Southgate side. 747, I believe.
okay, at location 747 Williams Road. Second by Supervisor Little, all in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
And while we're here, we brought that up about, the, Supervisor Williams, the putting those no parking signs up on 25. And I think, our attorney gone out and looked at it and he said that's what it needs.
Yeah, it needs no parking, and my thinking is, before we put fines attached to it, go ahead and put the signs out, and then we come back with an ordinance that will fine them. That way, there'll be signs there before, we're not giving anybody any ticket, we're just telling them not to park there, and then we can come back with an ordinance that gives them a ticket later. That way, they'll get
Well, I think
noticed.
the sheriff's department already has something.
They already got a ticket.
Well, no, I'm saying that I think they have a process in place.
That's perfect. I just want to make sure that we're giving them plenty of time to.
Yeah, yeah, because I think they'll go and they'll put a warning, so, you can't,
Perfect. That's perfect. I needed to give them tickets whenever they would park.
Absolutely, absolutely. We want an easy
Easy
transition,
peasy.
but we can't hold that liability.
That's perfect.
Robert, you gonna write this ordinance?
It sounds like I need to get with the
I
sheriff
think
department.
the
They already
sheriff's
got
department
something.
already has a process in
That's what I'm
place.
hearing.
Where they can go out, that gives them the authority to, because there's no parking signs other places.
Right.
And
We
they
have
do-
plenty.
So the parking sign itself actually gives
Just
it.
needs to be put up.
Yeah, we just need to put a no parking.
Okay, we have one other location on 25. Do we also need to put one there?
Yes, it's that one right above it.
Yes.
The one we talked
Both
about.
spots, and if, we'll talk about any procedural stuff. The main thing is that a lot of those people have been parking there for as long as I can remember. And, so they just need to get used to not parking there.
Yeah. Well, I come up this morning and someone parks their trailer within 2 foot of the white line. And it's kind of a dangerous situation.
Well, God forbid anybody get hurt, and I pray that that doesn't happen, but it just is what it is.
Right, we have to be mindful of those type of situations.
I got a question. The rest of the supervisors want to be notified about covers, you know, a lot of times they'll call
No,
me.
it's just that one culvert.
Well, I just want to make sure, because they'll call me
Yeah,
to access property, so I just want to know, do I need to let you guys know?
I would like for you to let me know. Because a lot of them being put in District 5 for some reason. And some of them I'm wondering why they're being put there. So I just want to know, because if they have to be approved by the board, and we're approving things that we don't know why they're being put there, we really don't even know where that location is at. When you bring that to the board, we really don't know where that location is at. Unless there's some prior communication.
Right, most of the time when I bring it here, I'm either gonna have a name or their current address. A lot of times they want them to access property, it may not be at their current address, but it'll be at, you know,
That just
access property.
that just takes some communication.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
That just communication.
But a disclaimer for me, the more I don't know, whether it's right or wrong, that's what I don't want to know.
I'm hoping you wouldn't go run out.
They already don't.
I think you say that.
I don't want to know.
Oh, I think, Nick, don't leave.
I don't know.
I'm not.
I thought we had, but if we don't.
No. So you just stay in your
Thank y'all,
lane.
appreciate it.
Just stay in my lane. Just stay in my lane. Stay in my lane. Right or wrong.
Next on the agenda, we got our county administrator, Mr. Carter.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got one more that just came through, Culver. Can I do that real quick? Is that fine? It's, from Ms. Carrie Matthews, KERIMATTHEW. It's on Highway 82, is that an MDOT culvert or ours?
Yeah, that's gonna be an end.
I'm sorry, take it off. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can put it in, Ken.
On 82?
Yeah.
No,
We can't do that.
Why we can't?
you got to be permitted first. by
Go through
MDOT.
the permit process and put it in.
Because that's something you would approve.
They're a citizen.
that.
They're a citizen. They're a citizen. We putting colors in everywhere.
You can't approve that.
Yes, we can.
It's them
You
done.
gotta go through the MDOT process. and put it in. So that citizen gonna think you discriminate.
Well, it gives us a liability. When we put our trucks and machines out on 82, you see that what we had to go through to put a cover in at the end of Wade Road. It was a big. We got to go to a permit process, and
But
we got.
we did it, put it in, right?
Yeah, but
Well, that's all I'm saying.
You approved the wrong thing.
No, but we did.
But
it.
this was that's what I'm saying. This
You're
was a.
approving something that you can't approve. You have to communicate with MDOT.
Well,
If
we refer me to the state officer.
If we put
And let them challenge me when we did that.
if we, see that?
So I'm saying, if it's in the wrong, you just hold me accountable. And let me suffer the consequences.
We don't want something
You
consequential.
look
We
at
want to get it right the first time.
Whatever you do, you fall for something.
But if MDOT won't do it, we'll come back.
That citizen gonna say, "Oh, why y'all making a distinction between me?" You know, because I live here and I live in Occidental County, I pay tax. I mean, I heard
We just say,
Well, that's
get it
still the same
approved.
thing.
Get it approved by
That's not
MDOT.
because MDOT takes care of their road.
Well, I know that, but we've done it before.
If MDOT say do it.
We've done it before.
Supervisor Tracy Wright, we have done it
That's
before.
We've done it before.
That didn't mean we did it right, but we did do it before.
We've done that, we've not done that before. No, we haven't. No, we haven't, unless you got approval by MDOT to do it. We've not done it before.
You may be right, they may have given approval.
Yeah, they gave approval. That's different.
Got that administrator.
Victor, you planning on leaving? You not running out the door?
No, I'm
You go away on this motor grader, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go in order of my, what I got listed here. The first thing, on the list is, if you guys were, gentlemen, ladies, will recall, when we sold the hospital, there was one building over there, 200, or 4 professional plaza that had a slope stabilization problem. I had asked Clyde to be here. He had a family member that's in the hospital. He called me this morning. I encouraged him to go take care of his family member as opposed to not try to handle any questions that you had. But based on my consulting with him, this building is in danger of that slope eating up under the foundation of the building and potentially losing a part of the building. And if we need to act quickly. We don't need to wait 3-4 weeks trying to get a bid process and the whole 9 yards. I'm asking this board to declare an emergency to let us work on that. Clyde's already identified a contractor.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion?
The price went up.
I'm just quoting the price that Clyde gave me. I can't speak to, they did give us like an estimate of $350,000, I think, but I don't know how accurate that was because we were discussing a whole nother issue with the sale of a hospital and not specifically this. They may have just been kind of going off the top of their heads when we were talking about it before.
I think that was something that the hospital had gotten like years ago, a couple of years ago.
That was an old bid.
This has been an ongoing thing for a while.
That was an old bid, and we got a new bid.
That's exactly right.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Next item on my report is this board authorized, Vic and I to work through and do bids on, what do you call that thing? A ditcher, right?
Yeah, ditcher.
And so we come to the board, want the ditcher. The whole conversation was he needed a new motor grader to put the ditcher on. And in the course of the discussion, we were instructed to get bids on a new one, bids on a used one. We'd figure out what we wanted to do. So we have received the bids. We put out for bid for a new one. We put out for bid for a used one. And I provided you with an overview. The new grader, if you got a new grader to put this ditcher on, or to replace the grader that you would put the ditcher on, it cost you $278,000. It'd be a John Deere tractor. If you went with the used grader, we only got one bid, and it was in the amount of $149,764. I guess the question in front of the board is, do we want to do option A for the new grader or option B for the used grader to have a grader to put a ditcher on?
No, I think we need to go without A. We've been out in the road before.
It's not a Caterpillar. I just want to make sure you said Caterpillar.
Mr. Road Manager, can you give us a little input on
Okay, first of all, we have all Caterpillar machines. I'm gonna recommend going with the used one and stay with the Caterpillar machine. That's my recommendation.
And because the ditcher will be attached to this one, right?
No, the ditcher will be attached to another one. This one will be replacing the one that we'll use to put the ditcher on.
So the one that's using that we're purchasing will be put out on the road for grading and.
Yes, sir.
But it's more out, isn't it? It's got more hours than what we expected out. It's got over
240
hours.
Well, my question,
over
I'm
the
sort of,
specification, so that's not really much different. To not get that used one for the price.
I'm sort of like Supervisor Train on this one because now I thought we were gonna purchase the used one and attach the ditcher to it. That way it wouldn't be used, it wouldn't be daily use. So I would be comfortable with
Well,
it.
this machine here, the machine that we gonna put this ditcher on is about 9,000 hours on it.
Okay.
And this machine here is gonna fall well under what that machine has on it.
Well, any warranty left on it?
They are gonna give us, I believe, 1,000 hours,
Okay.
1 year.
Well, why don't we just purchase a new grader from Thompson and put it where the most grading is done in the county?
Thompson didn't
They didn't win the bid.
They didn't win the bid on the new grader.
That's right.
But we have used other methods to get the highest and best bid.
Well, if y'all,
There's certainly a mechanism to do that. Now, we put the specifications out there, the John Deere met the specifications at the lower price. You'd have to declare John Deere to be a better Caterpillar to be a better product than John Deere and go through that process.
Question: what piece of equipment from Caterpillar have we ever bought that Caterpillar had the lowest price? We've never bought a piece of equipment from Caterpillar that they had the lowest price.
they did the last time, when we bought the 3, they did fall low. Now,
I got another option, because I know our tractors and everything are all old, that we go ahead and get this used one, but we get a bid out on a new one also, because, our stuff is falling apart. We gotta keep our roads graded.
Well, you gotta bid for a new one.
We gotta bid for a new one?
You gotta bid for a new one and a bid for a used one.
You got two.
And then the used ones.
Well, I don't see the bid for the new from Thompson.
You got option A and B in
That's
there.
used.
Yeah, but that's new.
Go to your first page.
We can get some sand that's cheaper than that.
No.
We want some sand that's cheaper than
The brand new.
We got
I'm not saying it's not a mechanism to declare Kent to be the best.
Right.
But we have to make sure we documented it properly and have our justifications in line. If y'all would like for me to go back and do that piece of work for this board, supervise a little, under your point, for the new one, I can certainly do that. But we'd have to have a solid justification, and this board would have to have it done through resolution and entered into the minutes as to why we didn't choose the lowest.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
now, if that's what you all want to do, Wayne and I can take these machines and run them machine for machine. And the Caterpillar machine probably would lead out in a couple of places, but we would have to go back and do that.
Do you have any reservation on the 5,000? You said you're running another grader for 9,000 hours. Are 5,000 hours at that price?
A grader usually will give you a Caterpillar grader will usually give you about 9,000 hours of good service.
I'm gonna move.
If it's well taken care of.
I'm gonna move approval to purchase the Cat 12M3. From Thompson Machinery. The used Cat 12M3 from Thompson Machinery. Price $149.
Second.
But then I do want to go back and look at purchasing at some point a new cat. Or, go side by side with the cat and the other one, to see which one's better.
Well, we'll take option A back with us, and I'll bring that to the board.
Well, we got a motion and a second, but we still got discussion.
Supervisor, Howard,
Yes, sir.
if we're gonna take that back, let us do that before we approve the used one.
Well,
There's
that's
no
what
need in approving the used one.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
fixing to say. We got a motion and a second, but if we are leaning, and it seems like we're more or less leaning toward a new one.
Yes.
Why don't we just go back and you all jumble some numbers and do some specs and come
And figure
back?
out which one is the true best one that's gonna work for us the best.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What we will do is we will go work through our justifications as to why the new Caterpillar is lowest and best as opposed to just low.
and make sure we stay in compliance with the purchasing law
Correct.
before I ask you.
Or y'all
to
can come
approve.
back and tell us that the John Deere beats everything.
Right, there you go.
Everybody's pants
Yeah.
off, but we wanna know, cause
Well,
whatever
it
we're
may
buying brand
not.
new for this amount of money,
Yeah.
we wanna know which one is the best one for us to use.
Caterpillar is the best, I don't know what to tell you. That's just.
You don't have to do a study on that.
Study that.
We've got a tool in place, and we'll work on our language, and we'll get with Rob and get some help, make sure we're not.
I would withdraw my motion.
Okay, Supervisor Carver has withdrawn his motion to purchase the used one. So with that being said, we need a motion just to allow our county administrator and our road manager to go back and compare the Cat and the John Deere.
Yeah, I had to say.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Carver. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
The motion is to go back and look at the two.
And compare the Caterpillar and the
We're not
John
buying
Deere, new purchase.
today.
Wayne, you don't need any more, do you?
No, sir, thank you.
Then we got your box covered in place.
Yes.
They are working today to get it covered up and everything finalized on it. We have one other thing we gotta do is seal some cracks on the end. It'll have to be done by concrete, but we want to open New Light Road probably by tomorrow afternoon.
That's paved and everything?
Well, that'll be, no, we,
Big gravel?
it'll be gravel, cause we need to let that settle. Paving one this quick without a rain on it and not selling, it always end up with a dip in it, and we wanna avoid that.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
hopefully will be able to pave it by next.
I've had some engineers that run Harrison and Hancock County, and they were here, and they actually went out with me and looked. These are the guys that do big construction, post-Katrina, and they said, that's good work. So I thought that spoke volumes. They just happened to be in town
Yeah,
for the, so they said, whoever doing this, that looks good.
well, we Derek and his crew and myself, we hung with it, and, they stayed with us, and we got it. We got a crew that I don't have to worry about nothing, but they get it. It ain't no arguing and who doing the most work. They really stayed at it.
Thank you.
All right.
What about Super Ridge?
Well, right now, this cold weather, we gotta get some warmness now. All right.
I'm sorry, that's for
You
your
okay?
presentation. But since we're on, back to coverage, there is I request a cover to be replaced on Lean Lane to improve, the water flow.
Yeah. Mr. William, we working on it. Let me give y'all an update on the covers. I got about 9 covers that got to be put in, sitting at my office down that has been ordered. So y'all just gonna have to give us a little time, cause this cross drain took about a week, and that one over there on County Line Road, it took a few days, and it just, and I only got a few people that I can trust to go in and properly install a cover without me standing there with them.
Right, I'm just.
And that's my new construction with Derek, and they work at it, and when it's done, and I'm gonna give you a scenario. That cover we put on County Line years ago, it was put in by a contractor, and you know what we found? It wasn't put in right. It's about 6 inches lower on the inlet end than it is on the outlet end, and that's what caused the cover to rust. But wasn't much we could do about it because it had concrete end pieces poured on it, and we would have to bust those end pieces out, and that would have been way in the money to do that. But that just goes to show you, if you don't know what you're doing and you ain't out there with an instrument and making sure you get a grade shot on it, you can make a bigger mess out of a good thing than you can if you don't.
That's a reminder.
Okay, but I'm gonna get you.
Okay.
Just to make a little clarification, we think that Thompson is the best machine, but you all will go and do the research.
We're gonna do the research and get the lowest and best, and get it proven in such a way that we can comply with the procurement law.
Sounds good.
All right, thank y'all.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Carver?
It took up half of my time and all of his.
Let's see, all right, so I was on a conference call or a video conference with, a gentleman from Baptist. His name was Ron. He works in their corporate headquarters, and I thought this call was gonna be about accounts receivable, which is a whole nother matter, but it had to do with cost reports, and I didn't fully grasp what cost reports were, so I ended up digging around in that 4-inch thick binder that they gave me of all the ancillary agreements and documents that went along with this sale of this hospital, and educated myself on cost reporting. And so essentially when you deal with the federal government, right, whether it be Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and even some private insurances, what you do is you submit your claims to them, they negotiate and reject, and they come back and all, you know, there's a lot of back and forth. But at the end of each year, you do what's called a cost report. And I want you to think of this thing as a tax return. So you do a cost report, you send it in to the Medicaid, and you say, we billed you X, you only paid us Y, therefore you owe us Z, still outstanding. And then there's the whole reconciliation of that gets involved, and those things remain open for 5 years, which the federal government can then audit those reports, come back and say, no, you owe us money, we owe you money, that kind of thing, right? So the gentleman from Baptist was recommending we just do this for you. Sounded good when he said it real fast, and my first response was, man, this is an easy button. We'll let them do it for you. The more I research this kind of stuff, I feel like it's a conflict of interest, because a lot of the future payments that they receive from Medicaid will be based upon how this cost report comes out, and their interests don't necessarily align with our interests. Because the idea is we want to get the maximum return, right? The maximum cash coming back to us. So I don't believe that that's the right approach. I then reached out to Miss Susan Russell. What we determined was that the hospital has had a gentleman with Watkins Ward and Stafford over in before that's been doing their financials, their all of their single audit, their financial audit, and their cost reporting for them for the last number of years. I can't remember, 5-7 years. And so my recommendation to this board is that we work with Watkins Ward and Stafford, the traditional CPA that's been handling this for the hospital for the last number of years, to do both the financial audit, the single audit, and the cost reporting.
I make that motion that we go with Watkins Ward and Stafford.
Motion by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Williams. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay. We got discussion. Supervisor Carl.
Just want to know, this is out of hospital liquidation fund, so.
It will be, I think so, yes, sir. Now, that's up to y'all, but obviously, yes, we should pay for the cost of closing out all of this hospital business with the proceeds that came from the sale of the hospital, as opposed to allowing it to impact the general fund or any other fund.
Yeah, so we got a second?
Now, just to clarify all of it before, just to make sure y'all understand, the hospital board approved the engagement letter. The CPA I was talking to over in Newport telling me, no, we don't need a new engagement letter. I'm like, I can't imagine that you don't need a new engagement letter. Go talk to your attorneys. I'm going to talk to mine, and we got to have a new engagement letter.
Yes, we have.
And so what I'm asking this board to do is a little bit of sight unseen, right? I'm not bringing you an engagement letter at this point, but I'd like for you guys to authorize, as soon as I get that engagement letter, me and the board attorney to give it a quick review and authorize President Howard to go on and sign that thing, long as it's within the scope of what I presented to you today.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Before we move on, remember this conversation you just had about this, because we're going to go into executive session and discuss things that that have happened in the past that are tied to this that will have to be dealt with. So I just want you to keep this in the back of your head that what he just said, there are bigger ramifications to this, and there are reasons that we need to, you are exactly right what you just said.
Okay. All right.
You nailed it.
I swear I get told that. I'll take it. The last time we talked about this, small building over here to the east of the courthouse, we've been working on foundation work. You guys accepted the bid. I'm bringing now to you the contract. They've got the foundation work done. We're ready to proceed with the actual renovation. So with your approval, we'll get this contract signed and get the renovation started.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Carver, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Next item on the report, I've been keeping you informed on the elevator here in the Chancery Court building. We've determined that the motherboards on the old elevator cannot be repaired. There are no parts for these old elevators any longer, so we're going to have to modernize this elevator. I presented to you two quotes. Mid-South elevator is the lowest quote, and my recommendation to you is to accept the Mid-South elevator quote in the amount of $65,750.
All right, I do have one question. How, I know elevator people are not local,
Yes, ma'am.
but where are the bids, where do they come from? The reason I'm asking is
Bagby is,
Yeah.
go ahead, I'm
you know,
sorry.
getting parts, getting service people, getting people here for elevators is a difficult situation. You know,
Bagby's out of Jackson, if my memory serves. That's the one we've been using.
Bagby's.
I'm sorry, Bagby's out of Alabama, if my memory serves, and Mid-South is out of Jackson.
2.5 either way.
Yeah, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another as far
I
as
can
locality.
remember that they were
Yes,
close
ma'am.
enough to service it.
Motion approved.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion?
But that's still like, how long before you think that elevator's operational? Just
It's, I think in their quote, it said that it would take them a couple of months to get all the parts, and then once they get started, it'll take them like 6 weeks to get the work done. So we could be looking at being out of an elevator for another 3 to 5 months, in my estimation.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Rob, I'm assuming you've had an opportunity to look over this subrogation and lien settlement offer. This is a very normal action. I'm hesitant to use the name, but we had an employee that suffered an injury. They went after being reimbursed for that injury as a part of our self-insured health program. We paid a number of the health bills, and upon getting reimbursed due to his lawsuit, we owe a portion of the attorney fees because they were also fighting for us when they were fighting for this employee. So this is a normal course of action. If the board attorney will recommend approval, then I'm offering this to the board.
Recommend approval.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
You want to sell them, but why didn't you get returned for them?
The insurance. We got to pay back the dollars.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get about $7,000 back. But the total amount that we paid out of our insurance was a little less than $12,000. Our portion of the legal fees to go after those funds total about $4,700, I think. I don't.
Okay. All right.
And so we're getting back about $7,000.
Yes, I don't remember all those cards up.
Well, you get into damages and attorney fees and all that kind of stuff, and so it just, the actual suit was won, but some of it was considered damages and pain and suffering, and some of it was considered actual medical coverage. We only get the part of the medical coverage. So when you see a really large number like $180,000, the biggest majority of that's not part of, we were a part of that settlement. I hope I explained that satisfactorily. Next item on my report is Wingo Way. If you guys will recall, we've been working with Mississippi State on Wingo Way for about, 9 months now. What I'm presenting to you is the initial phases of getting this project kicked off. It involves a number of letters being sent on county letterhead to a number of the tribes, letting them know about the work, and then it also involves some public notice for I believe, wetland, whatever you have to do for the wetlands. I wished I could speak more intelligently on it than that. I'm really kind of following the lead of these engineers that are handling this. So I need approval to issue the early notice and public review of proposed activity in a wetland for publication, and then to authorize the county administrator to sign and send the tribal consultation letters on county letterhead.
Motion for approval. Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
And we already did the paper post office, didn't we?
We did the main post office. Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Why I shaking? This is making. Who won that?
It wasn't your friendly craftsman. First time I've seen a concrete quote come in here where it wasn't them.
It's usually him.
We gotta get our man back.
I need to.
We got his level from.
No, he already used up enough of my time. We're not getting him back in here. I offered the invoices for approval as the next item on my report that is detailed in your packets. I'll try to answer any questions that you have.
Second.
It's been motioned by Supervisor Little, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor?
The one question that I asked Rob while I have your attention on this matter is this invoice from Phelps Dunbar LLP in regard to an inquiry as it relates to the data breach out at the hospital.
Right.
Do I need to pay those out of the hospital proceeds or out of the tort claims?
Hospital proceeds.
Okay.
And just so y'all are aware, there's a lot that's gonna be going on with this over the next, and this is not the last bill you're gonna get. I'm just gonna give you a heads up. I'm actually in the board's meetings over today. I'm gonna go out there and be talking to Mr. Green, making sure that we get some stuff going on that. But this is, I'd love to tell you that's the end of this, but it's not.
If you, in the course of your meeting out there this afternoon, if you could identify what our potential liability may be as it relates to that, I'd like to set a little bit of money aside to cover the cost, so as the board makes these decisions, we don't spend or invest, all of the money and end up having to pay these sorts of costs out of the general fund. So if you can give me some sort of estimate.
Well, the reason I said that, so that y'all understand why I'm distinguishing the two, there has not been a lawsuit filed. We expect their money.
Okay.
That's the distinction.
Next item on my report are the payroll changes. I'll attempt to answer any questions that you may have.
Motion to approve payroll changes. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
I apologize, I have one walk-on. If you'll recall, at the very beginning of the meeting, a gentleman came in here with a young child, and I had met with him on late Friday afternoon and sent him out to Pritchard Engineering. He is trying to get a right-of-way to install a water line along Clifford Lane. His name is Mr. Curtis Snell. He is working with the Clayton Village Water Association. They insisted that he has to contract a licensed contractor to install the water line, and so he's running all the rabbits and been out to Pritchard Engineering. I have Clyde Pritchard, the county engineer's signature on a right-of-way document. I did not get it into your packet, but it's the normal thing that we do in many occasions, so.
Yes. Second.
Motion by Supervisor Carver, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
Subject to your questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Who maintains keys to our vehicles, the county truck? Where are those keys?
I have the extra keys in a drawer behind my desk.
You have the extra keys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you need?
No, but I'd like to, I don't need one, but you got a key. Who else have a key?
I wasn't here for it. All I know is there's a drawer behind my desk where all the extra keys are located. And if you talk about building keys, there's some in some books that relate to Lynn Lane.
No, I was talking about the keys.
Yes, sir.
Keys to the truck.
Yeah, that. I'm not even certain that key's back there. I would have to go on a search to ensure and find it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But I just know that behind my desk, there is a drawer full of keys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
I
just
apologize.
had that. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anything else for our county administrator?
One question.
Yes, sir.
When I got the Hurl truck, I've got that green gas card. You want me to give it to you or Leslie?
Me. To run the
You
property.
want?
You have one in your mailbox.
Yes, ma'am, I got that.
You have that?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you have the one that goes to your
Yes,
truck?
ma'am.
Or you can give it, will be, I have, it needs to go back to me.
The green gas card needs to stay with the truck, so if the truck went to Vic, then we'll need to get it caught up with the truck. And then we've got you, the green card that went with the one you're driving.
Yes, sir.
And I terminated it. I saw that. Oh, yes, I terminated and shredded.
Thank you for everything.
Yes, sir.
Anything else for our county administrator? Not, thank you, Mr. Carver.
Yes, sir.
Chief, next,
Yes, sir.
we've got,
I got one.
Chancery, Ms. Sherry Livingston.
Yeah, I have one thing and then I have another one that just was brought to my attention. The first thing is that I've got the letter from Department of Revenue that where they accepted the approving of the 2025 assessment rolls, so I just need a board order to accept that.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Trainer, accept the roll. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
And then the last thing I have is the affidavit that we did of publication for the depository bids for the newspaper. I need approval for that so we can pay that invoice.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Little to pay the invoice. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
And that's all I have.
All right, before we move on, does anybody need a break? Okay, well, we'll keep.
You need a break, we'll take a break.
Okay, let's go.
Y'all might want to take that.
Okay. Motion to take a 5-minute break.
Is there any
uh,
All right, I would ask that we go into executive session, discuss our closed session to determine whether or not we need to go into executive session. I have this all memorized. You'd think I'd get it right every time I don't. Closed session to determine whether or not we need to go into executive session. The purpose for going into closed session is to determine a personnel issue dealing with a committee that we put together. They've hired people, but it's a personnel issue that could have a lawsuit that would be attached to it. The other three things will be issues dealing with the hospital that are lawsuit tied into. And we've got attorneys that are helping us with those, and I'm trying to fill y'all in on what's going on with those situations with the hospital. Those are the reasons.
motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Carver, that we enter closed session to determine if we need to go into executive session. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. We are now in closed session, and we'll wait